Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to a brand new edition of Apex to Asphalt for today, Monday, February 2nd, 2026. Formula One has completed the Barcelona preseason testing. Monster Energy Supercross visited Houston. The WRC kicked off their season in the snowy French Alps. Speaking of snow, snow is the only thing blanketing NASCAR this week. They've got some controversy that we'll talk about later on this show. Freddie B joins us to talk IndyCar, as a certain government agency made us look like a fool last week. And finally, we're going to preview the 57th running of the GFL I-500 in Sault Ste. Marie in Michigan. The first 500-miler of the year is on the snow and ice, and it is the snowmobiles. And Christopher Lehman, who's joining me, my co-host, they could probably run some snowmobiles around here for a race. It is awful, the roads right now.
Yep, absolutely.
So we're going to get into that, but first we're going to pay some bills. We'll be right back after this.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And we're back here on Apex to Asphalt on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We're going to get started with Formula One, but a pretty big controversy. Pretty big news event has been going on this week. There have been more release in files of the Jeffrey Epstein case. The reason we are bringing them up tonight is because there are several instances where motorsports and these particular files intersect, and we are a racing podcast. We are also a news source, and we would be doing a disservice if we did not discuss these. So we are going to discuss this extremely important and grave manner with the justice and dignity that it deserves. And we're going to start with that tonight. The files that were released, there were several motorsports related entries. As I said, one of them we're going to look at right now deals with the Stroll family. Try to get the share screen to work. I don't know why all of a sudden it's popping up the help stuff. I don't know what's going on with that, but
Do you need help?
no, not really. I mean, I've used this more than enough times. But these are the emails in question. Help actually hit the button. I'm going to try to make this big enough for folks to see. But Chris, you brought this to our attention. I don't think this is going to work the way I want it. So you can kind of read off or give us the cliff notes of what we're looking at here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the general gist of this is the fact that the Strolls appear to be friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think the really troubling is that first kind of sentence bit where it was, I was delighted by your visit, and unfortunately we weren't able to discover your, quote, pirate treasure, end quote, of Little St. Jeff, which is clearly a reference to St. James Island, which is the infamous island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So,
we'll scroll
yeah.
through these a little more. It's not great what these emails are implying. And it is a concern that
Yeah.
they were this close. And there's a line in here in this particular email, if it was in this one, where it stated that the services of Lawrence Stroll's wife and the daughter were still necessary. To what end that means, I don't know. And there it is. Actually, it's in this line. There's still a lot of treasure to unearth, so your services and those of your daughter are still needed. I don't know what that means. We will never know because Maxwell is in prison and Jeffrey Epstein is dead. But given what he was doing and what his preclusions were, that is not a good thing.
Yep.
And the problem that is going to arise, as I'll bring us back to full screen here, and that a lot of individuals are going to have a conversation and a come to Jesus moment about, is what was your extent of your relationship with this guy?
Yeah.
Because this is, if someone had said that about my daughter and my wife, I would be a little bit concerned, because what do you mean by that?
Yep. Especially given the context that we know now of, everything. There'd either have to have been a hell of an explanation, or there's going to be some problems.
We will see what happens with Formula One going forward in this conversation. These files are not going away, clearly. And we have more to discuss when we get to the NASCAR portion. But the Epstein case continues to grow legs. And unfortunately, he was a despicable human being that did despicable things. And he's looking up at us now. And with that, we are going to mercifully move away and get into something happier, which is the end of the Formula One shakedown.
Yep.
So, Mercedes and Ferrari set the early pace during the 5-day test, which for a lot of Ferrari fans are going to be excited about that. Ferrari set the fastest time on the final day with Lewis Hamilton running a 1:16.348. Solid baseline for the SF26. And Chris, after years of Ferrari being Ferrari, as we used to say, it is so good to see, at least for now, they have a little bit of pace.
Darryl, let's jump in our time machine. We're at last week. It's Tuesday. And we said nothing this week matters.
Yes.
And then if we jump in our time machine to this time of year in 2025, we say preseason testing, nothing matters. And then we go back to Darryl and the OGs 9 years ago saying in their very first episode, nothing matters right now.
That is our going line every time we get to F1 preseason.
So
nothing matters. I mean, it's nice to see Lewis at the top of a timesheet, but take everything we see over this week and the next couple of weeks with a grain of salt.
Yep.
Because again, as Chris said, none of this matters.
It's like the points and whose line is it anyways?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you watched that show growing up.
I love that show.
Yeah. So, however, what is real, Red Bull powertrains was apparently they were I believe the quote was pleasantly surprised.
Yes, George Russell had that quote by their reliability. Despite Isaac Hadjar having a little bit of an off on day 2, 622 laps completed, the most for the new manufacturers. If you're Ford and Red Bull, that is a lot of track time and a lot of information you just learned to take into this to the next test.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it is worth noting that after Isaac Hadjar's crash, I believe Max flew home, streamed FIFA for like 9 hours, and then flew back.
Max, why? That man is addicted to streaming.
I believe I believe he flew home and waited until they said, okay, the car's fixed, come back now.
I mean, it's not that far away, to be fair. Spain to where is
Monaco?
To Monaco is not that far away.
And when you own your own private jet, so
yeah,
that helps
so
too.
He could be there within the day.
Yeah.
But still, 622 laps. The only number that matters, I will make this addendum. The only number that matters during testing is how many laps you turn. Because 622 laps before the first official test, that is a lot of data in your notebook to go back and work on.
I would also say that the teams I would say there's two numbers that really matter, Darryl. One is how many laps you turn, but two, what was your tire allocation?
Yes.
That matters because Red Bull did not take a hard. They took a lot of softs, a couple mediums, and a lot of intermediates. But they did have rain. So I do think it's really good that they got like 2 days of rain because they did get a lot of rain data, which I think is going to be good.
We need that rain data to make the rain tires better, and we just don't get a lot of rain anymore when it comes to races. So they're really just taking a shot in the dark with those. So to get 2 full days of actual running on the intermediate tire, that's great for the teams, but that's also great for Pirelli. So they can get some real world use cases of that tire to try to make it better. Because I really feel the rain tires over the last few years have been lacking, because of how the downforce was working with the ground effect cars and how much wash we were getting, and B, they just don't get run that often.
Yeah. I think there were even a couple teams that didn't take any. I can't think of who it was, but no, I mean, as many different track conditions as you can have and as many laps as you can put down in those different track conditions, the better you're going to be prepared for this year. And, I would say it's not impossible, but it is so highly improbable that they get any rain in Bahrain. So then you're looking at maybe Australia as the first rain, but I don't think you want to be testing, this new car, wet conditions in race conditions.
Absolutely not.
So I think it's great that we got these 2 days of running with damp or wet conditions.
And you want that knowledge because going into next season, last season, remember, we had a changeable conditions race in Australia, which made it very challenging. And now you have that potential, of course, going into this year, and the added hurdle of this is a new car that we haven't driven before. So to have this rain testing for the teams that went out, that is a X factor that is going to help them through the early part of this season, having that knowledge of how this car performs in the wet that they didn't before. The new engine manufacturers, as we mentioned earlier, got their first taste of the track. Of the new manufacturers, as we said, Red Bull powertrain, 622 laps. Audi, though, only 243 for Sauber. It was a struggle.
Yikes.
And Cadillac, they have a Ferrari power unit, but they are a new manufacturer. 164 laps. Hard to tell what was going on with Cadillac, but Audi had some real teething issues that they had to work on.
Yeah, I did not realize their lap count was that low. It does. Maybe Cadillac was too concerned about making content because they had a lot of filming content and stuff come out of this. So maybe they're just, had other priorities, I guess.
It's hard to tell what their priorities were. Of course, it's the test. Everybody has their own, or this wasn't even a test, it was a shakedown. So everybody had their own little plan for the day. And it's going to be hard to tell where Cadillac is going to line up. I think they just want to get through the first year, get the notebook full, and then really go at it for 2027. But Honda, Aston Martin, the team that we all thought with Adrian Newey getting there for Aston Martin was just going to be dominant. Only 66 laps and plagued by engine troubles. That is not a good sign if you're an Aston Martin fan.
Yeah. Well, your first run's as team principal. I will say, and please don't knock me for this, but it's kind of like fighting with one arm tied behind your back, because Adrian Newey could design the fastest car in the world, and if you have Lance Stroll and 54-year-old Fernando Alonso driving, what chance do you really have?
54 yet.
He might as well be.
I mean, he's getting there.
But he's basically geriatric as far as professional sports of any kind are concerned, except for golf.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, like, to be kind of honest, to be honest, but in hopefully a kind of nice way, what does Aston Martin really expect to do in terms of performance with, again, Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll? If we're just being, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, a lot of people are expecting them to just rocket straight back to the top. I just don't see that happening in the first year. And especially when you're with a new engine manufacturer, especially when it seems you've got reliability issues, it's not going to be a good year for Aston Martin fans. Maybe, as I said, it doesn't really matter a lot. So what's up next for Formula One is they will be off this week. They will be in Bahrain for the first of two official test sessions, February 11th through the 13th, and again the 16th through the 18th. And then March 6th, we are going racing in Australia to begin the season in Melbourne.
Not
Melbourne and Albert
Park. Yeah.
Yes.
One of two times that I enjoy waking up at about 4 a.m.
Hey, there's also going to be some supercars action that week too. So they'll have that race going on. And usually it's the best race of the weekend, the supercars, the sprint championship, which used to be a invitation event. Now it is a full points event, and it is amazing.
Sorry, I muted my mic. Yeah, any supercars race is always amazing. Mm-hmm. But actually, you know what? Japan. I don't mind waking up for Japan.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't mind waking up for racing or hunting. But anything else kind of sucks to wake up for. But usually, actually, with Bathurst, I can't even sleep before.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas everything else, I can fall asleep and then just wake up later. But Bathurst, I'm usually so excited that I get like so much ice cream and chips and dip, and I just sit there and I just like pig out for the night. It's like my cheat day of the year.
Nice. So we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, Freddie B will be joining us at around 8:30 to talk about all goings on in the run-up to the IndyCar season, including the new 18th race, the Jeff Gordon 13th Chaser Grand Prix. I'm never going to let that joke die. And we got a special something from the Red Bull Media House because certain someone has some nice credentials, and we get to see something nice from the Red Bull Media House as the World Rally Championship gets their season started in Monte Carlo. We'll have that on the other side here on Apex to Asphalt. We'll be right back.
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernick.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the '08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies,
And your one-timers,
you wicked wristas.
and be sure to protect your five-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode. IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Got to thank the Red Bull Media House for that one as the WRC season is underway. And they just got running in the Rally de Monte Carlo. as you just saw there, some great footage that we'll be able to show you now thanks to our new credentials and being able to get in there with the Red Bull Content House, which, Chris, great job picking that up. That was awesome. And we don't get a lot of World Rally coverage in America anymore, especially now that the Speed Channel has unfortunately gone away. But I will say this for rally drivers, God bless them, because they are the craziest dudes. Mute it. You're muted again.
Haha, good thing I didn't say anything too good.
Yes.
We would have missed it. Yeah, these people are nuts, man. And even not even rally, just even people you see like like drifting in the wood or in the mountains, like the Dragon's Back or whatever it is in Pennsylvania, stuff like that. I mean, anybody that just says, I'm going to go down a windy mountain as fast as I can and do some really cool shit along the way is a certified badass in my book.
Yeah. Whether it's this, whether it's the Dakar Rally, where you're just running in nothingness and the weirdest map I've ever seen, and I hope you follow it because you're going to get stuck out there in the desert, and the Dakar Rally has killed people recently.
Will again.
That is one of the few races where you can still die.
Yeah.
You gotta love rally. This most recent round got wrapped up with Oliver Solberg taking the win in the WRC category, wrapping up a GR Yaris Rally 1 top 3, which, Chris, I didn't even know they were still making the Yaris, let alone using it as a rally car.
Yep. That what's it called? Hybrid power, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, maybe they don't make it here, but Europe does have its whole own set of cars, different from the United States, that are pretty cool. Like my sister-in-law, for instance, she's a formerly German citizen. Maybe she still is. I don't know. But she always talked about her Ford Ka, and she wanted to bring her Ford Ka over, which is like the crappiest vehicle I've ever seen. It's just KA. I see you going to look it up.
Oh, I see it. It used to be
it's the ugliest little thing in the world.
No, it's what used to be the hatchback over here. I cannot remember this car's name now. Oh my God. What was the Ford hatchback that they used to have over here?
Can you put it up on the screen?
Was it the Focus?
They did, but it's definitely not the Focus.
It looks like the Focus. I'm going to bring it up so everybody can see it, but
this is just a weird tangent, I know.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sometimes you get some fun stuff like that.
Yep. So this is the Ford Ka. It's definitely built on the Focus. I'm not sharing. Hold on. There it is. That's the Ford Ka.
Oh, no. Go down to the two. Yeah.
Oh,
the one right
this thing.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, that is the Ford Ka.
Oh.
The other one might be a newer version, but that's like the one that my sister-in-law had. That is such a popular car in Europe, and it is the ugliest freaking thing I've ever seen.
I mean, I can see why. It is certainly one of the cars in the world. Wow. I've never seen this thing before in my life before today. That is wild.
Yeah, like with the military, you get to like bring like, if you're in Europe, you can bring like one car stateside for free or like at like a discounted rate or something. And she was like, I think she was like kind of like upset that my brother didn't do that for her Ford Ka.
Mm-hmm.
But I could be like completely misremembering it too. But like she still talks about that thing in a very like reminiscent, I love that car type of way. I don't see it.
Well, someone has to. Clearly, it is a culture clash.
Yes.
Between the U.S. and the Europe,
but there are still Toyota Yaris's out there, which is the point of what we were talking about 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, the point is the cars that go missing in America are often running somewhere else. Oliver Solberg gets the win, as I said, in the top category. Leo Russell wins in WRC2 to get the season started. The next round.
Okay, hold on. Because
Right.
Solberg was the youngest winner of the Monte Carlo.
Wow.
I knew he broke a record. I just couldn't remember what it was. And
Congratulations to him.
He is his dad is Peter Solberg,
right?
Yep.
Yep.
Very decorated WRC driver.
Yeah, rallying runs in the family with the Solbergs, and Peter took him to the woodshed in the mid-2000s. He was just winning everything, and it looks like his son is picking up just where dear old dad left off, because in 2025, he was dominant as well.
Yep.
So they are off for the next couple of weeks. They'll be back for the WRC Rally Sweden, February 12th through the 15th, 2026. I have no idea where you can watch this in the United States. I think they might have it on YouTube.
I think it's on YouTube. But also there was something else. I was right on. I forget what it was.
We're doing it live.
It's Rally TV. That's what it was. Rally TV.
Okay.
It's rally.tv. That's what it was.
Okay, so they have the shakedowns, the opening, the service area, and the post-event show. I'd have to look up Rally TV to give you guys more information. We'll have that for you next week as we go on to try to expand our little racing portfolio here on Apex to Asphalt. We're waiting for Freddie B to join us. He's going to come and discuss IndyCar with us, including, apparently, Chris, we are, in fact, going to have a DC Grand Prix.
We were made to be fools, weren't we?
Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
Do you want to just hop in NASCAR?
Yeah, we're just going to hop into NASCAR.
While we wait?
I have opinions, and I want Freddie to hear them. So we'll skip down to NASCAR. I wish we were actually, as I say that, joining us in the room now is Mr. Freddie B, our IndyCar insider. And we're glad to have him back earlier than we expected. We're going to get into some preseason IndyCar news. Freddie, welcome in.
Hey, thanks for having me again, Darryl and Chris. It's good to be back talking racing. It seems like it's been a long off season, so a lot of news to cover, Darryl.
Yeah, a lot to get into. And Freddie has also been busy. He's been with us this year, and since then he's added a new title, which is NHL and IndyCar insider and co-host of the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio. So I want to give you that tip of the cap as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I can talk every sport imaginable, but these two are probably the most two that I'm passionate about. And thank you guys for having me on and giving me this opportunity.
Of course. Let's get into the IndyCar offseason. We are barreling down towards the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
The driver lineup, I think, is almost complete. We're still waiting for Dale Coyne, as usual. What do you think of the driver lineups going into this season?
There's been a lot of shakeup going into the offseason. There were a lot of undetermineds. Like Will Power was the key piece, and then once that domino fell, then everything kind of went in line. As far as Dale Coyne go, I don't know what are they doing.
I feel like I ask that question every year.
I mean, last year, what was it, like two weeks before, and then when they signed VK, and now we're almost up to that same point again. So at first I thought it was going to be Romain Grosjean, that he was the consensus pick, and then just yesterday I saw an article that maybe it might be Connor Daly.
Maybe Connor got another crypto sponsor that actually stayed around this time.
I have seen that IndyCar is making a big push for AI sponsorship on their cars as well this year. Will Powers being one of them.
Well, AI is the big thing right now, even though the data
Who
centers.
does he have for an AI sponsor?
I think I saw the car today. If I could pull it up, it was like TW something, but I don't want to be wrong.
I did not know they were pushing for AI sponsors.
Yeah.
It's TWG, I believe. They're sponsoring Andretti Global this year.
So yeah, I don't know. The crypto thing, you got everybody to buy, and then market tanks, and now they're going to go AI.
That was a wild saga, by the way, with Connor and that whole crypto deal.
Yeah, it was.
And he's a great guy, but you hate to see that happen to him. And he's one of those drivers. I think we talk about that a lot in IndyCar, where if they just had a consistent sponsor, that guy would be a lot better.
Yeah, you see the guys that do have that consistent sponsor are, and I think that's why, because they're getting more monies from the bigger companies. So I don't know. The sponsorship thing is weird. It's not like it is over in F1 or in NASCAR. Still try to get as much as they can. And there's some guys I saw today. They're race fire suits of some of the rookies, like Schumacher has like no sponsorship. He's just wearing like a black fire suit, and Dennis Hauger was wearing just a solid white one. We got to see those guys getting some advertisements on their unis.
Well, the hope is just they didn't have the fire suit ready, not that they're going to be going into the season with no sponsor, because that would be rough for these new guys to not have actual sponsorship.
Yeah, but yeah, what's your take on some of the off-season dealings in IndyCar?
Well, we look at the one thing that I did find interesting was the Alex Palou McLaren lawsuit got wrapped up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Alex Palou couldn't win that one. Unfortunately, he lost out to the tune of $12 million.
$12 million.
Could have been worse.
Yeah, I thought originally it was going to be like 20. And then to get it down to the 12, I mean, that's still a lot. I don't know what went on behind the scenes. You don't know as well. But I tried to follow while he was over in the UK with that suit, and it just wasn't looking good for him, unfortunately. I mean, I honestly feel that he was duped and was promised a spot, and then all of a sudden that spot was given to Lando and Oscar, and I don't know what happened, but he should have been able to renege on the contract, and then they,
it's rough. Unfortunately, the courts saw it the other way, but with all the winning he's done over the last couple of years, I think he'll be okay, but he also does have a pretty rich sponsor that can help him out.
Yeah, and that's what he said afterward. He's like, I'm just going to focus on winning races in IndyCar. That's what I do. So his day might come. Again, I think Pato O'Ward and then obviously Colton Herta are two guys that are trying to make that leap over into the F1 as well. So we'll see. I think there's going to be a lot more shakeup. Just after this season, we have another bunch of free agent drivers that don't know where they're going to be. But a lot of guys switching roles this year. Most importantly was Will Power going to Andretti Global.
Yeah, what do you think is going to be the ceiling for him over there? It's going to be his first time with a new team. There's going to be a lot of expectation on him.
Yeah, he's also driving a Honda, not a Chevy. So I'd like to see how he can do on some of the street courses in the Hondas. Will's always been a very good street course racer. I think he's going to have a really good season. And that Andretti team, we saw what Kyle Kirkwood did last year, his success winning multiple races. And Marcus Harrison is going to be back again. And I think he's going to have a better outing than he had last year. Really good group of guys there. And then David Malukas fills that 12-car seat over at Penske. So a lot of shakeup in the drivers and in some of the teams and team principals as well.
Yeah, one of them is back in Tim Cindric, and that was a head scratcher for me. I remember posting in the chat about that. Mm-hmm. What is your take on Tim Cindric apparently being back from exile from Penske Racing?
I don't know. I mean, it was just like a little slap on the wrist. I guess Joseph was having a terrible season last year to begin with, so it wasn't really too much of a loss for him to serve that little 7-month suspension that he basically had. But no, he's going to be back now, and he's got a role. I don't know, man. Some of those other guys changed spots as well. We saw Ron Rzuski go to Andretti, and then last year in June, Kyle Moyer went to Arrow McLaren. So those guys are all getting jobs back, and they know their craft. They're good at what they do. Unfortunately, they got caught up in some shenanigans. That's a no-no.
Do you think they can put that behind them? Because the fan reaction online from them being back was pretty significantly negative.
They're going to live with that stigma, I think, forever. Once you're a cheater, you're always a cheater, in my opinion. And I'm going to look at them a little bit differently. If some of their cars perform maybe better than some of the others, then I'm always going to think that in the back of my mind. Hey, what's going on? Are they manipulating the car, or what's happening? But just give you some clear racing. We have a new board of officials as well, right? So they're trying to do things the right way, I think, over in IndyCar now, and really cleaning up and taking over to possibly be the #1 racing series in the United States.
It could happen, given the issues that NASCAR is facing, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. We think we're going to have all the teams we had last year, but unfortunately, Prema is not looking good. What have you heard? Are we going to have them back out there this year, or are they a one and done? Because they're going to miss the Phoenix test, is what it sounds like. And
I saw that they maybe
troubling.
miss up to the first 4 races of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at that point, what's the point? You're not going to be in it for a championship. What are you racing for? Are you racing for somebody to come help and bail you out? Is that what they're going to be trying to accomplish? They had a pretty good season. Robert Schwartzman had a really good rookie season. We saw what he did getting pole at the Indy 500, and Callum Ilott had a strong finish at the end of the season. It's just sad. Prema, had a lot of money coming in from Europe, and then it just hasn't panned out. Just 1 year for that group just seemed like I don't know what to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's a struggle, and they were the team that got caught out by the Charters coming in their first year, and that really cut their winnings to a point where it seems like it's unsustainable. Yeah,
it is. And you just were talking about Phoenix practice. That's coming up here in a couple of weeks. I think the 16th and 17th of February. IndyCar finally back in Phoenix, racing on the ovals on a championship double triple header weekend, partnered up with NASCAR. What do you think about that?
I'm excited. I love to see NASCAR and IndyCar actually working together instead of apart from each other. I know the trucks are going to be sharing the speedway with IndyCar at St. Pete. Yeah. And Chris, with that race coming up, I think the trucks on the street are going to be very compelling.
Demolition Derby.
That's exciting. That's exciting. It's so when has the truck series already started, or is that going to be their kickoff as well?
They're going to be kicking off in a couple of weeks at Daytona.
So okay.
That'll be about their second or third race of the season. But I am already predicting we're going to get a track blocker in that twisty section off of turn number 2. I feel like we're going to get a track blocker wreck there at some point.
Yeah, there's going to be multiple wrecks in that race, but it's going to be the viewership should be high watching that. I know I'm going to tune in and watch it. And I wish they could do that. They run like the super trucks over at Long Beach and with some of their stuff, but they're like, they're jumping trucks and stuff like that. Not the NASCAR truck series, but no, that's a lot of fun when you see them on the streets racing. It should be exciting. And then we also have Markham taking over for Toronto, and then just announced last week They're going to be racing in Washington, D.C. around the Capitol building. We kind of talked about that as like, what if, like back in June or July, we talked about it, and it was a fathom, a pipe dream at that point, and it's actually come together. I think everybody's maybe 50-50 on the fence on that, putting, personal beliefs and political stuff aside. It's going to be a race regardless. I just hope they can pull it off and make it a good race.
I think that's the unfortunate part in that we are a world away from June, where it was like, yeah, it could happen. And then we've had everything that's happened in Minneapolis, everything that's happened in other cities. It's unfortunately put IndyCar in a bad situation where a lot of fans, when this came out, basically accused IndyCar of sports washing and a lot of other things. How does IndyCar pull this back and make it just about them racing in DC on America's 250th anniversary and not about the other stuff that unfortunately comes with doing any business with the federal administration right now?
Yeah, and think about it too. IndyCar has so many drivers that are of national, and foreign descent as well. So I don't know what the take is on some of those guys. I haven't really heard anybody interview or give an answer on their take, but I just keep it to racing. That's all I care about. Just keep it to the racing. Hopefully it works out, and there's no demonstrations or anything like that at that point in June where it just takes away from an IndyCar race.
I think that's kind of going to depend on the administration, to be honest. I mean,
yeah,
IndyCar doesn't have a lot of control over that. It just depends on where we are politically around that time, which we'll see, because we'll be going into elections too. So all of it's going to be a concern. But the other issues from someone who lives in DC, related specifically to the race, are the time, because we only got 6 months to put this together.
Sure. And
where are we going to race? Because the streets around where they want it are not that wide for racing. And there's a lot of legal things at play when it comes to advertising and things of that nature that have to be worked out. This is going to be a lot.
It is going to be a lot, and I'm gonna watch it and see how it progresses. We talked about it, like we said before, and we were trying to draw our own little maps as to where the track layout may be. I think there's a couple 3D renderings coming out now. I don't know if it's official or not. A lot of just straightaways, not many turns. I don't know how you're going to be able to really pass on this track. Maybe as it gets closer, they're going to say, you know what, it's just not going to be feasible. It's not going to work out. We're just wasting our time. And it's crammed in the middle of two races. I think Milwaukee and one of the other races. I don't have the schedule up right now. So they put that in there in between a couple of races towards the end of August.
Yeah, I can look. I've got the schedule up here. So they'll be coming from Markham in Canada.
Okay.
To DC and then back out west to go to Milwaukee.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And
so
then before that, they'll be in Portland, but they'll have a break. That is a lot in not a lot of time.
That is a lot. And that's a lot of East Coast, a lot of traveling. That's taxing on all the teams, all the crew members that are driving the transports across country. You just don't load those up in a C-17 and drop them off at the next destination. Those guys are dry. That's a lot of work. We saw that last year as they were going back and forth towards the end of the season. And then it's going to end up on the West Coast again, as Laguna Seca is going to be the finale.
Why did they mess up a good thing by not having Nashville as the finale? It was such a great race to end the season. And now you're going to move it to Laguna Seca, which it's a great track. Don't get me wrong. is not the best for passing.
It's not at all. We've
racing.
we saw it last year happen. Pole sitters winning in both Indy Next and in the IndyCar race up there. So hopefully, if it does come down to maybe a couple of people with a chance to win a championship and it's a lot closer, and then it really factors in on, hey, who's going to win pole position, and can you just hold on long enough to secure the win or get the points that you need. Yeah, Nashville was a lot of fun to end last year. Even though the championship had been decided, that was one of the most exciting races all season. And then Joseph Newgarden, it was fitting after the season that he had being the Nashville native, that he was the one who ended up winning the finale this last year.
So, Freddie, one more question before we let you go. Can anybody chase down Alex Palou this year?
You know what? I don't know. I didn't think we were going to see the things he did last year. 3 straight championships, 4 of the last 5 years. I really like to think that the Penske guys are going to be better. I think Pato O'Ward, this could be his opportunity. And then I'd like to see how Will Power does, and Scott Dixon as well. The old veterans, is this going to be their last season? I don't know. I said last year on a preview that Alex was not going to win, and then he proved me wrong and win and won again. I talked with his crew chief Ricky Davis yesterday, and he said, "Yeah, we had a great season last year. We won 8 races, but we got to win 9 more this year." So they're determined to do what they did and then some.
All right. The gauntlet's already been put down. Freddie, thank you so much, and we'll be talking to you during the year as IndyCar gets started.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Darryl, Chris, we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to get into NASCAR, and can we please start the Cookout Clash and some other news that we have to speak with, which is not as fun. But we'll talk about that on the other side of this break here on Apex to Asphalt on IE Sports Radio. We'll be right back.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon. But it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
we're back here on Apex Asphalt on IE Sports Radio. We're heading into our final segments of the night. We're going to get caught up real quick on the Super Motocross season. They just wrapped up in Houston. Hayden Deegan swept the 250 Triple Crown event, while Cooper Webb won the 450 overall. No wins, but consistent finishes so far for Webb. As the standings look a little bit like this, as Eli Tomac currently leads by 4 points. Why do they not have the total points for the racers for the 450s?
They should.
I think the site's acting up on my website or on my screen.
Oh no, I'm only seeing the difference.
Yeah, so
That there must be. It was there earlier today, so it just must be something.
They're having a back-end issue with their website. We've had that. I've had that at work.
It works. It works for the 250s. If you click over to the 250s, you see points.
Yep. So Hayden Deegan is leading there. He's having a dominant season. He's gone 3 for 3 so far.
Yeah, no surprise.
Max Anstey is 19 back. Michael Moseman 20 points back. Man, if that guy could get through lap 1, he'd probably be leading this championship. He such a strong rider, but just that first lap of the final gets him every time.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to say about it. But Hayden Deegan, and I'll talk a little bit about him before we continue. He's got a little bit of an edge to him. And when it comes to Supercross, I think you have to have a little bit of that ego to say that, yeah, I'm just better than everybody else. It lends itself to the bikes motorsports, and he was showing a little bit of that, giving little finger guns to his rivals at the finish of the Triple Crown races. He's got an edge to him. I like it.
Yeah. It's this younger generations, because you got like the Lawrences. I mean, they're a little feisty too, and gone are the days of your, I don't want to say quiet winners, but these newer guys, they definitely like a little bit of taunting, and not to say the older guys didn't, but it's fun to see this new generation embrace that.
I think it's more out there with these younger guys, and it makes it fun. It makes it fun.
In a way, it feels almost more malicious with these guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Like back in the days, if I mean, there's so many people that come to mind, but if like Ricky Carmichael's out there and he's got you by the better part of a straightaway, and he turns around and points at you or something, you're just like, oh, you rascal.
Yeah.
But if Jet Lawrence is 38 seconds ahead of you and you catch him on the camera winking, you're like, what a douche.
Well, we had a fight last year. Actually, the last couple of years, we had actual fist fights during AMA races, and guys got ejected from the event. These riders definitely don't like each other, and much like the Ford GM toxicity we're going to see in Formula One this year, I'm all for it. Yep. Bring all the toxic. It makes the rivalries more fun.
Ford's already been throwing daggers at GM.
We talked about it, and I talked about it last week, a couple of weeks ago. I love it more. Yeah. I want more of this.
Win on Sunday.
Yep. I would say sell on Monday, but neither of them sell sedans anymore. So
yep.
That's a whole nother thing. So let's go ahead and get into NASCAR. It's supposed to be back. In fact, today we were supposed to do our little watch along, but it snowed in North Carolina. So now we don't have the Cookout Clash until at least Wednesday. Some folks are talking about, let's just take it back to Daytona for this race, because it is clear we're not going to race in North Carolina. And it's funny, Chris, we had the conversation near the end of the show yesterday about how we didn't have the rain delays. And the first event of this season, we deal with snow.
Yep. It's Mother Nature. I even said Mother Nature's going to get us back for it.
She's getting us back in spades. If this is how the season is going to go, it's going to be a rough time for rain delays.
I feel like it was like 2002 maybe, when we just had every other week was a rain delay.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 22? I don't remember, but it felt like, at least in the first half of the year, like every other race got postponed to Monday. And it was the most frustrating thing. It might have
I
even
remember like 2007 we had that issue too.
it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
I was at
2000.
I was at work watching them, so
Mhm.
it wasn't 2007.
I know 2001 was one of those years. And
But
it was just one of those years where we just got bad luck with rain. I think every race in August rained on Monday that year. It was
Yep.
ridiculous.
but currently scheduled for Wednesday, but honestly, who knows?
It depends on the roads around, and I said that last week. It's going to depend on the infrastructure around Winston-Salem of can they move a crowd in and out of that race or out of that speedway.
Yep.
Even if it's just 17,000 people. As someone who is still dealing with the roads choked with ice, it's not great trying to get around after that type of storm.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad.
Dude, we don't have turn lanes anymore.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad.
You've never driven in DC or in the DMV. We are the worst drivers in the nation for a reason. We
I don't
need
know.
all our road space.
If you think you're the worst driver, you've never been to Jersey.
I'm just telling you what the insurance companies say. It's not Jersey, it's LA, it's here apparently where the worst drivers are, and I kind of agree.
Well, figure it out.
I wish. Well, I figured it out. It's the other people that haven't, which is a whole nother story for another day. Unfortunately, we have to get into some sensitive topics now when it comes to NASCAR. Hopefully, we will have a race on Wednesday. The NTSB has released their initial findings of the accident that killed Greg Biffle and 6 others back in December. The Cliff Notes, there was electrical malfunctions that were found with some of the gauges. Some of those were found during the pre-trip inspection. They had experienced pilots at the helm, and a lot of experienced pilots that have read this paperwork basically have said that plane should have never left the ground. It's the part of the story where sadness turns to rage just due to the complacency of everybody involved. And every time I talk about this or think about this story, I see Greg's 5-year-old child, and I think about the life he didn't get to live because of this, and it's painful that the mistakes of adults took that life from us before we got a chance to see what he would be. So this is a true tragedy that is going to continue to resound in NASCAR. And as we have updates, we will bring them to you. And as we said, racing is also being affected by the Epstein files. The most recent release, some pretty damning stuff, Chris, came out about Michael Waltrip Racing that we saw.
Yeah.
Brian
And here
Vickers.
we all thought Spingate was going to be the most controversial part of their history, but this takes Spingate to a whole new level.
Yeah. The story goes, as you look through the emails, as it is alleged that around 2013 or 2014, while Michael Waltrip Racing was trying to hold on to Aaron's, there was a pretty decent controversy swirling around Brian Vickers of an inappropriate relationship that he was having with a girl that was not the age of 18. And it is alleged in the files that Epstein may or may not have had a thing or had something to do with that story going away. Again, it's hard to tell because the individual, Brian Vickers, we haven't heard from him in a while, and Epstein is dead. So we will never know for sure. But this is unfortunate for a team that Chris, this has a history of unfortunate events in its short time.
Yeah, and before I think we say anything else, I think we should just say that we're not assuming guilt or making accusations. We are just reporting on what has been released. And again, these are just speculations and not assumptions or accusations. So from what I read, and maybe Brian Vickers' wife was like a recruiter for Epstein.
That was alleged when this first happened. That's kind of why Vickers disappeared off the face of the planet as far as NASCAR TV was concerned. Last year, they got divorced. We have no idea why. And then these emails come out, and then we haven't heard from Brian since. So he's keeping a extremely low profile. I don't even think he's been in a car since. He had the blood clots issue. But
which even those have come up because they said, like, right around this time, he was having, quote unquote medical issues. And now people are wondering, were these actually medical issues? Or was this, something related? And these emails, I want to say at least they point some serious fingers at what I think is a direct quote was Michael Waltrip Racing owners.
Mm-hmm.
And it points a direct finger at them being involved in the cover-up. So what I want to say about the Epstein files is we are getting the disclosure, and we have a choice between holding people accountable or just saying, we brought them to light and that's it.
I think the main thing...
There needs to be accountability, and I would like to say that if they can prove something on somebody as beloved as Michael Waltrip, jail. These emails clearly point to fraud, and so therefore, Michael Waltrip, like, I'm sorry to say it, but your team committed fraud, and these emails clearly spill it.
I don't know if I'd go far as to make those type of... It's hard to tell clearly, but I think the situation that we're in right now, Mikey has to come out and say something before we get to Daytona. I think the emails are that bad that someone has to come out and say something. Russell Wilson today was mentioned one time, and he jumped online and said, absolutely not. I was trying to buy a plane. I never spoke with the guy. I never ended up buying the plane. Leave me out of that mess. He's going to have to come out and say something, because I think if you leave the silence at this point when it comes to this individual and what he was doing and what those emails say, it lends people to start making connections that you don't want them to connect. And those connections get very hard to break, even if you tell the truth, if you don't get out in front of it first. So I think Mikey, for the good of himself, needs to come out and say something about this.
And you better have a damn good story.
Yeah.
Because these emails, I know it's like one person's account, but it doesn't seem like it was him making anything up. Like, this seemed like he was talking business. And
what I read was not great either.
Yes, that's what I'm like. There's not really incentive for Epstein to lie in his emails, especially
he didn't think anybody was going to read them.
Especially going back to 2013 before he was on anybody's radar. I would say maybe some later stuff like 2017, 18, like maybe there's a little bit of, preparation going into that. But 2013, and then just talking about NASCAR sponsorship, like, I don't think he really has enough of a horse in the race to make things up about that. So I read the emails and I kind of take them, I don't want to say as gospel, but I put a lot of stock in them just because there's no incentive for him to be disingenuous in those emails at that point.
Yeah, it's not like anybody was checking for him at that point.
And it all just lines up. Like timelines line up, the contents just kind of line up. So I do think that Michael Waltrip and Brian Vickers, I think they need to come out and make a statement, and then also there needs to be accountability.
Yes.
And I don't think that Michael Waltrip should probably be on the broadcast anymore.
Not with this over his head. Absolutely not.
Nope.
We'll see how they handle this, but let's have a nice little palate cleanser. Burt Myers, he will be in the Clash on Wednesday, and he took a little fun at some of the snow that they're getting down there. So he made this cute little video. We're going to take a look at it here. I wish we had that type of grip in the snow.
That fooled me for like 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Once I saw how hooked up he was in the corner, I was like, okay, that's ridiculous.
And I just noticed the car in front disappeared as well.
Yes. And and he posted some other videos of like his modified and stuff as well.
I saw the modified video. I thought that one was real.
I thought so too. So I thought they were legit for a minute until I saw how hooked up they were, and then I was like, okay, that's ridiculous. Like, not a chance. But it was hilarious. I found those videos to be hilarious.
Bert was having fun, and it's really showing some of us are really going to be getting caught by the AI when we get older, depending on how it goes. This is the modified one. Yeah. I thought this one was real.
I did too. Until the second time I watched it, and the guy was standing there in a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then
now that I see the t-shirt and everything, now I'm like, okay.
Now you got to replay it so everybody sees. On the left-hand side of the screen, you're going to see a guy with an orange t-shirt on. Right about now.
That guy right there. Once you see that guy, it's like, okay, something's going on here. But like, yeah, if you're not paying attention, these videos look real.
Yep.
And that's how a lot of us end up getting caught.
And to just take a video, and then all they did is add a snow layer.
Yeah.
Wild.
The video editing that you can do now is just incredible. As we were hoping to get some racing this week, Jimmy Johnson apparently was also involved, but he got an email, and there's no evidence that he even really responded. So,
and also, for what it's worth, there's no evidence that it is NASCAR Jimmy Johnson either. Because the actual email
could be a Jimmy Johnson.
The actual email address is blacked out, and all you see is the name Jimmy Johnson. Now it is spelled like our Jimmy, but there's no other context. There's no one else on the email. The contents of the email are not available. So there's no context right now to be pointing the finger at, anybody. 7-time.
And the question also is in the emails is, what is the nature of the conversation? Is it rich guy stuff, or is it like what we saw in the Claire Stroll emails, and definitely the Vickers emails, which we're not even going to show those, because what Brian was writing was absolutely distasteful.
There was one that was just filthy.
That's the one I'm talking about. I read that one, and that drove me up a wall.
I was ready to see him in jail for the rest of his life when I read that email. It's available.
I think you should
folks.
go to jail just for that email.
It's on Twitter.
That is
just go to X, type in Brian Vickers' email. It'll pop right up, and you'll know exactly what one we're talking about.
Trust me, you'll see it. It won't take you long to see it. So we're gonna wrap up, Chris. This is from your neck of the woods, a extremely exciting race on snowmobiles, the International 500 Take us through this one.
It is exactly how it sounds. It is snowmobiles racing for 500 miles. They did not spend a lot of time naming the event, apparently. But it's just a fun event. It's crazy that it takes 8 hours. But you got to figure it's snowmobiles doing like an average of like 70-ish miles an hour.
Yes.
Going 500 miles. So, just do some basic math there. But no, it's fun. It takes like a full week. There's like I sent Darryl, I texted you today at like 12:30 that they have a live cam. So if you go to i-500.com, they got a live feed camera. They turn it off during races. Clever.
If you can watch the races on Flow this weekend or
Yep.
next weekend. No, it's this weekend.
It's
sorry.
this weekend. Yeah, this weekend. But they got events going on all week, practices. I think tonight might be ice skating night, or maybe it's tomorrow.
I think tonight is skating night because
no, it's tomorrow. Oh yeah, Monday.
Oh.
Today's Monday. Yeah. So skate night.
Tomorrow,
skate night's ended, or well, maybe their time it hasn't. But I'm actually gonna pop on and see if you can see people skating.
Yeah, tomorrow they will be running it, or tomorrow they will start the practices. Gemini, of course, we're trying to get into the AI tools this year to help us fill in some of the gaps, and some of the names to look out for this weekend include Corey Davison and Gabe Bunky. Both of them have the record for the most career wins. Not people to look out for. These are some of the historical legends of the oval. Corey Davidson and Gabe Bunky, they're tied with the most wins in 8. Davidson dominated in the 90s, early 2000s. Bunky has been the man to beat in the last decade. Aaron Christensen secured 7 wins as part of the Bunky racing team. And John Wick III, known as Iron Man, he's the only driver to win it 4 times while doing the 500 miles solo. Most teams apparently use 2 to 3 drivers, which, Chris, I did not know that this was that type of endurance race. That's pretty cool.
I mean, you got 8 hours on a snowmobile. That's 8 hours. 8 hours doing anything is a lot. So they'll use 2, 3, even I think there's even been teams of 4.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they switch out. I mean, you got to eat and go to the bathroom and all that type of stuff. So, but yeah, so it's like a full day of just, it's one long endurance race. And I think back in the day, it was probably a little bit more exciting of, can we even go this distance? Kind of like endurance racing started out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
back when it like the 24-hour races started, it was truly machine against time. And now it is man against man.
Yeah.
It's
man against each other now.
And that's kind of how this race started as well. It used to start out as just machine versus time, and now it's man versus man.
Indy 500 was the same way. All these long distance races were the same way.
Yeah. And it'd be fun if they could figure out a way to, like, not sabotage cars, but create like high wear that teams have to work around. Yeah, so anyways, this race, it's fun. I've never watched it in its entirety. Usually I'll watch it for a little bit. It is just snowmobiles going around an oval for 8 hours. So the highlights are definitely better, but no, it's just a fun event. And as much as I say I want to go to it someday, like it's in the very look up where Sault Ste. Marie is. It is on, and then put it up on the screen. It is about as north in Michigan as, or not, yeah. It's as close to Michigan, or it's as close to Canada as you can get in Michigan.
I know what you meant. Because now that I'm looking at it, yeah, you are basically at Canada at this point.
Yeah, you could throw a rock to Canada. So do I want to just go stand in the cold for 10 hours by the time it's all said and done? Or I could drive 2 hours and go to snowcross at Salamanca, which I've always wanted to do, and I've never done it, and I really just should. I was going to go.
The town right here.
Yeah. And then if you scroll in a little bit, Darryl, and find the airport right there, and then just go to the north end of it, where that 75 is. Yep, right there. Scroll in right there. Yep, that's where it is.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's not letting me get any closer. It's doing this. There we go. Oh yeah, now I see it. You can kind of see it right here. Yep, there it is right there.
It gives you a little Darlington. You got a little bit tighter of a turn, and then you got a little bit more of an open turn down on the one side.
It's right out back of Lake Superior State University.
Yep. And so yeah, you're up there in terms of latitude, or longitude.
I would say if you're going out there, take your warm clothes, take some hot hands, and enjoy it. If you're not going to go all the way up there, it's on Flow Racing, and I think I'm going to enjoy it more from my couch than
me too.
There.
But they, as far as fan stuff goes, they do have a lot of fan engagement there. And then they get the kids out there, so they got the 5-year-olds racing. Not the 500, obviously, but they got all sorts of different classes. And then I'm pretty sure, Darryl, you or I could walk in and just sit in on the drivers meeting every day.
Nice.
They have the driver availability. So I think it's almost like going to your local dirt track where you can pretty much just walk up. You could probably walk in one of the haulers, grab a soda out of the fridge, and they'd just be like, "Hey, you're welcome." One of those deals. So I think it's quite family friendly, at least during the daytime hours.
Yeah. So enjoy this on Flow Racing this week. We are getting closer to more racing coming up. We'll have AMA Supercross, Monster Energy Supercross this weekend as well. Hopefully we will have some NASCAR racing to talk about next week, as the Clash will hopefully have happened, and then we'll be getting ready for the Daytona 500, the great American race. We'll have qualifying next Wednesday, the duels next Thursday, trucks on Friday, Xfinity or O'Reilly on Saturday, and
gonna have to get used to that
on Sunday. Yeah, we're also gonna have to get used to not having to hear about winning you're in anymore, because the playoffs are done. We're back to the chase where it always should have been. Chris, your final thoughts before we head out.
Well, it's been a heavy show at times, but just thank you for listening, and of course, don't forget to brush your teeth before bed, and have a good night.
See you guys next week.